Do you want to grow a mulberry tree without buying one? You can, and it's easier than you think. In this video, I'm taking you from pruning to planting and tracking how long it actually takes for mulberry cuttings to grow roots. I received this comment in one of my short clips. Nice, can you give some time frames from cutting to rooting and at what time of year / temperature? Thanks. This comment and other comments like it inspired me to create this video. You might be surprised how fast mulberry cuttings can root. There are a few things I want to share with you that make all the difference. In this video, I'm going to show you what worked for me, the exact timeline, and some easy care tips to help your cuttings thrive. This little tree to the left, I grew from a cutting from this tree, and I have quite a few mulberry videos from this tree that you can watch. I'll link them below, and the video that you're watching right now is going to be part of that mulberry series. I'm not sure yet just how many parts there will be, but I will be sharing weekly or bi-weekly updates on the cuttings we plant today. So I really hope you stick around until the end of this video and come back to follow the journey of the cuttings.
Alright, so the first thing we want to do is prepare our mulberry cuttings. Start by choosing healthy, mature branches. Look for ones that are firm, not too young or too woody, and free of any signs of disease or damage. You want branches that are strong but still flexible. Now it's time to take off all the leaves from your branches. Your branches do not need any leaves, so don't be afraid to take them all off, as well as some of the fruit. If you see any mulberries on your branches, take those off too. Next, we're going to cut the branches down into smaller sections, about 6 to 8 inches long. It's okay if they're a little bit shorter. Make sure each cutting has at least 2 to 3 nodes. Those are the little bumps along the stem where leaves and roots can grow. You'll want to make your cut just below a node on the bottom and right above a node at the top of the branch. And repeat those steps for all of your cuttings. I want to use more than 5 cuttings because not all of them will root. And it's not because I did anything wrong or because you did anything wrong. That's just nature. So you want to have more than 5 cuttings to plant. I found this green little guy among all the cuttings. Hope it's a friend. And finally, make sure you're using a sharp, clean knife or pruning shears. Clean cuts help the plant heal faster and reduce the risk of disease or infection. Dull blades can crush the stem, which makes it harder for the roots to develop.
Now it's time to plant these mulberry cuttings and get them started on their journey to becoming little mulberry trees. This will be the time to prepare your planting medium. As you can see, I am going to use this big pot and maybe some of these small pots. I also wanted to use a clear pot, but I don't have any. So I'm gonna use this one where my orchid is. And this orchid kind of looks sad. Oh my gosh. It used to be inside for a while and it was thriving, and then all the flowers fell off, and then I just threw it outside, and now I feel like it received way too much rain. It has been raining a lot lately, so I need to find, and I left it here. So the roots were touching the soil, so I'm thinking it doesn't like that much water. So I'm going to find a different spot for it, but I will use this pot because I want to see if we can see the roots from the mulberry cuttings. That's my goal. So we're going to use different ways to plant these mulberry cuttings today. So let me set this aside. And I'm going to pull out some of these weeds because we're going to just shove some of these cuttings in this big pot right here. I'm going to put about 4 cuttings in this big pot. Maybe I'll put more, we'll see. But I just kind of shove them in there. That's it. We're going to water everything later. It is very nice for the cuttings to be underneath this mulberry tree, so it doesn't get too much sunlight. It gets some, but it's not overwhelmed by the Florida sun. Now I want to prepare these pots. Let's see, how many cuttings do I have? 1, 2, maybe I'll plant 2 in this pot. 1 in here, and then these other ones. I do have some soil on the other side of the garden, and I'm gonna mix that soil with perlite because it's not potting soil, and we want the soil to be well draining, and perlite helps with that. We will see. This whole experiment might be a complete fail, but we will give it a month or 2 and see how it goes.
So let's prepare our planting medium. You want to use a mix of well-draining potting soil and perlite, about a 70 to 30 ratio. This combination helps hold just enough moisture while keeping the soil light and airy, which is perfect for root development. Now, because I don't have potting soil, I'm just using this garden soil that I have left over. But if you're gonna go to the store, go ahead and buy some well-draining potting soil. Once your mix is ready, you're gonna fill up your containers or your trays and start planting those cuttings. So now it's time to take this orchid out of this clear container because I do want to use this for my mulberry cuttings. I'm going to put this orchid at one of my palm trees. I'm just gonna shove it in one of these nooks over here. I hope it survives. Let me know in the comments if you think this orchid is gonna survive here or if it needs something else. I've seen my neighbor do it. I don't know what else she puts. Maybe she puts some peat moss with it. I don't know. Hopefully it survives. I'm just gonna leave it here for a bit. Take each cutting and plant it deep enough so that at least 1 or 2 nodes are buried in the soil. These buried nodes are where your new roots will form. Be gentle but also firm as you press the soil around each cutting to hold it in place. And don't forget, spacing matters. You want to leave enough room between each cutting so that the roots have space to grow and you can easily check on their progress later. If you're using a tray or pot, make sure they're not too crowded. For the next few weeks, it's really important to take good care of your mulberry cuttings. This is the make or break stage for a successful rooting. Don't forget to water each day or every other day and keep the soil moist and keep it away from really strong sun. We're going to leave these leaves to decompose.
So why go through all this effort to grow mulberry trees from cuttings instead of just growing them from seeds or buying a big tree at your local nursery? Well, mulberry trees are truly special. Not only do they have beautiful, lush foliage that brings life to any yard, but they also produce sweet, juicy berries that are loved by people, pollinators, and birds alike. And if you follow my Instagram, you'll know that grasshoppers love the mulberry tree as well. The best part, they're actually pretty easy to grow from cuttings. You don't need fancy equipment or a greenhouse, just a healthy branch and good soil mix, and a little patience. Compared to growing mulberry trees from seeds, growing mulberry trees from cuttings is much faster, easier, and I think more reliable. I heard that with seeds that you might not always get the tree that you think you might. But with cuttings, you're just cloning that parent tree. So you know exactly what you're growing. Plus it's budget friendly, it makes great gifts once you root them. My family and friends love them. But if you don't want to give them away, you can just use them to expand your own garden or start a nursery. So with that, this wraps up the video and part 1 of our propagation journey. I hope this video gave you a clear look at how easy it is to grow mulberry trees from cuttings. Again, I will be sharing weekly or bi-weekly updates on these cuttings that we've planted today together. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you get updates. If you're thinking about starting to grow some mulberry trees from cuttings, let me know in the comments and I'll really try my best to help any way I can. And I love to hear about your experiences. Plus, you guys give me so many good ideas for my upcoming videos. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Happy planting!